Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotep. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. You are with your sister with the curly braids, Vicki Dillard, and I am so pleased that you are joining me here on my personal channel. I emphasize that because you all know over the years I've been on other platforms that I've helped to build. And so some of you all are used to seeing me there. So I always emphasize this now to let everybody know that they can find me here weekdays on my own channel live, even though I'm going to be making some programming announcements in due course about where they can find the Vicki Show on different platforms and some other upcoming changes. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a little bit of a ritual that as you come in, be sure to come in, giving us a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like, be sure to share on the count of three. Shout out to our moderators. Coach Donnie, he said he's driving. Oh, that's our strong supporter there. Our dear brother Warren with First Work Media, Miss Sharice Flemings Woods, Talk Black to Me. She's got the red hearts in there. Somebody said red wine indeed. Y'all play too much. Don't start some family. Don't y'all start now, because y'all know when I be red, I don't know how to act and stuff. Talk Black to Me. Thank you all so much for the beautiful red hearts to match the outfit today. Love it so much. So on the count of three, family, I want everybody to be sure to come in, giving us a big thumbs up. On the count of three, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, 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 share. Thank you so very much, family. Thank you so very much. It is such a pleasure to have you with us today, family. I really do want to get right into it. I have been discussing today's topic about this white actress, Julianna Margulies. And you all have certainly been responding because I tweeted about it some days ago, and I think over 100,000 people saw that. And then I posted it on Instagram. People were responding and commenting on that, and I put it on my community page here at VickiDillard.tv, among other places, and so on different spots on social media. And then I even put up on TikTok. And I don't understand what's going on with them and stuff. Well, actually, I do. That's not true. The U.S. government has been attacking anything Chinese, so they're being extra careful. So they talking about a community violation or something, child. And so here we're supposed to be in the United States of America, a democracy that honors free speech and left and right. The moment you talk about certain groups of people, and even though you're not being disrespectful and you're being totally honest, even posting a news post, they get freaked out and say, oh, community violation, community violation, community violation. See, that's how they sneak, pretend like, they looking out for somebody else, but that's how they censor you and block your voice. They think you're too stupid to think for yourself. And in fact, to be honest, no, they know you're not stupid. They know that you're able to think for yourself, which is why, to be honest, they're doing all this stuff to censor you, because they don't want you to have the information and the knowledge that you need, because they know that if you have the truth and another perspective, they lose this media war. And I keep telling you all, media is warfare. Talk black to me, somebody. I said media is warfare. And that's the reason why it's so important to support and respect broadcasts just like this one. Are y'all hearing me today? So family, thank you all so much for hitting that thumbs up button. Also be sure to subscribe. Family, let's get into this. Now, I posted this, as I mentioned before, I posted it on Instagram some days ago. I think on here it says 3 days ago. And of course, I tweeted about it, like I mentioned before, and put up on a couple of other platforms, and the people have been going off. I'm telling you, left and right. Y'all were outraged, and so many other people have been giving this white woman this everlasting work ever since. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is what I posted on Instagram, and this is what I posted on Twitter and some of the and YouTube and all that stuff. So here it is. Can y'all see this okay? Uh-oh, almost hit my thing. Thumbs up, family. Share, share, share. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Can y'all read what this funny looking thing here said? She said, the headline, this particular headline. Now, of course, I know there's been some developments since. She's been trying to apologize since. But the first thing Black folks ought to be talking about is not her trying to come out after the fact when she slips up and let her racism overtake and possess her. Now she's sitting up here talking about a half-hearted apology. We don't discuss that first. We got to get to what manner of woman is this? We got to get to camping and outside. Read through the lines. Talk Black to me. If you know anything about my Vicki Nation folks, y'all can fill in the blanks for the other people that might be confused. That's not a part of my day ones, and they're not used to my dictionary language. Now, the headline from this particular piece from NBC some days ago said actor Julianna Margulies says Black people should be completely supporting Israel. Somebody say, who in the hell is she talking to? I just don't think we should just be playing around with just getting to the point on that. I was outraged when I started to research what her funny looking self said after reading the article in the piece and then hearing certain clips. So whenever I'm going live and I want you to hear different clips and stuff like that, it's easier for me sometimes if I could just find, an easy video that I could just go to real quick, at the parts that's already cued, and just give you what you need. But we're not fixing to go through all of her anti-Black, white, a racist rant. I'm not going to let you listen to all of that, but I want you to listen. I want you to hear the tone and her mood and her vibe, her energy. I want you to pick that up in just these one or two clips that I cued from a podcast here. I want you to listen to how she said it. But before we get into that, listen to a little bit of the latest now. Now everybody is all the white media, everybody named mama now. The print publications are coming out talking about how she apologized. See, all of them are putting out that she apologized because, see, white people are trying to cover themselves. White media know it's in their interest to say she apologized because they know this is a reflection of them. And who is they? I'm not talking about those white folks that are like in the in the Republican Party, that some of you all consider to be open racist, right? That's the reason why so many of our people, unfortunately, are with the Democrat Party, because they're the friendlier side of white supremacy. They the racists that smile and shake your hand and eat your chicken. But like the other side, they don't give you nothing. Substantively, you have nothing. Talk Black to me. So, again, I've been discussing this online days ago, but decided to go ahead and do a brief broadcast. So here's what the Hill is saying. Julianna Margulies apologized for claiming Black people were brainwashed to hate Jews. Now, I hate even that headline because that's what most of white media's headline is now. When they put that there, they're still trying to make her look good. The reason why I brought up Democrat and Republican, and the reason why you always hear me invoke this notion of North and South, and how when the Civil War went down, half the country was against slavery and the other half was for it. No, baby, all of America mostly was for it, North and South. There was a little small handful of white folks, the Quaker type individuals that they legitimately felt that slavery was wrong. A little couple of handful of white folks that helped with the Underground Railroad here and there, baby, but they were the minority. They were the exception to the rule. Talk Black to me. The reason why the Civil War went down, and I keep telling you this, because they lied to us in school about the truth of America in order to absolve herself of her original sin, for which she has not paid a price. God, today. That's why she been hated all over the world and stuff. They want you to believe that it wasn't every white person. And so white people created the worst catastrophe that has ever existed among humankind. The Black Holocaust lasted longer, more than the 5 intense years of the German Holocaust. We were forced to learn about the white German Holocaust, which we agree was wrong. Yes, we don't defend any activity of such. But what the hell we look like having been mandated to study about their Holocaust, which lasts most intently for 5 years, when ours lasted for 500 years, the worst human tragedy that ever existed. And unfortunately, some of the main slave holders and those that taught what they called the Gentile whites that taught them the slave trade were folks from their very community. talk blood to me. And so every time I say that, and every time you see me defending Black folks the way that I do, people love to say, well, let's not get into oppression Olympics. They say stuff like that because the reason why they say stuff like that is because people don't want to be held accountable for paying a price for Black folks' oppression. The reason why other people groups keep saying stuff like, well, let's not get it, let's not make whose oppression was worse. Ours was worse, fool. The truth is the truth. Ours was the worst. It's still going on. And you don't want me to talk about it because you don't want to pay reparations. And you don't want to be exposed as the perpetrator of our Black Holocaust that has lasted most intensely centuries. You don't want to do nothing about this particular one. So I'm going to keep it in your face. And no, it's not an oppression Olympics. Guess what? Because it ain't a competition, because it's no comparison. I said what I said. I said because it's no comparison. Nobody has suffered as long as we have with absolutely no reparations or repair. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, please. Share, share, share. You're talking about, I'm going to always talk about it. What I look like not speaking for my ancestors. What I look like, the people that you crucified on multiple Calvaries here in the United States, set them on fire and ate their body parts, dismembered them. Can you imagine eating the phallus? Think about that. Can you imagine setting them on fire? Can you imagine putting them between two beasts, tying them between two beasts? And then you tell you have one beast go to the left, the other go to the right to split the body apart? Can you imagine sticking us in crates with spikes and rolling us down the hill? Can you imagine impregnating our mothers just so that you can use her extraordinary cosmic breast milk to nurse your own child because you knew that our breast milk had something supernatural in it? Can you imagine making our loved ones have sex with each other? You blinded them so they wouldn't know which family member of their own that you forced them to mate with. Can you imagine feeding our babies to crocodiles and alligators? We look at you and we say, what manner of man and what manner of woman are you? We, Black family in America and around the world, are the kindest, sweetest people on the planet, where we acknowledge the suffering of other people. But you don't think that you have a responsibility to acknowledge ours or to repair that which you participated in. And when you call them out for participating in it, you try to ban the books that prove in no limit of time your dirty hand. That's the reason, Black family, you hear me constantly say, stop emphasizing your Democratic and Republican labels. We see white supremacists in the Democratic Party just like we recognize them in the Republican Party equally. And that's what ticks off the Democratic Party, because we make no distinction. Don't you come here telling us that this is anti-Semitic. We don't even need to bring up your religion. You are upset because when we call out your racism, you bring up your religion to cover it up. I don't care if it's a Christian, a Jewish person, a Hindu, a Muslim, or anybody else. You don't escape our criticism. We're the mothers and fathers of civilization. It is as we say, and we don't need your instruction or your paternal chit-chat to get us in line. It's what I said it is. I'm your mother. And I and we as a people are absolutely uncheckable. We don't need your explanation or your footnotes on nothing. We don't need you to fill in no blanks. We don't need no additional explanation on anything or your side commentary. Now, white media, both liberal and the Republican and the conservative side, It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status or anything. They all make sure that they put out headlines like this one. I know some of you are like, well, Vicki, that's still a bad headline. Not really. This headline that says Julianna Margulies apologizes for claiming Black people were brainwashed to hate Jews. By them making that the headline of all the anti-Black stuff she said, by them making all the headlines is she apologizes for claiming we were brainwashed to hate Jews, still make her look like a victim because they're trying to show where, oh, she's just saying that y'all was brainwashed not to like us. The headlines ought to be that she said that Black folks are beneath Jewish people. The headlines ought to be that this white woman felt comfortable saying it at all. This white woman and the community that she comes from is absolutely directly and indirectly responsible for the torture and the destruction and the oppression and the undoing of us and our people. And they have not paid one price. And while they still got the knife in our back, the sword in our back, and the gun in our back, while we're still under heavy oppression, they still expect us bleeding with gunshot bullets and sword and sword scars. They still expect us in this condition to say something about them. There is no group of people. There's no group of people in America that is not extremely privileged because of our very Black blood. But notwithstanding this extraordinary pressure that we're under, they still expect us to run interference for them. They still expect us to defend them. You must be sick. You gotta be sick in the head. Can you imagine going to the emergency room? I always use this analogy. And the sickest person, the one who needs to be seen first, the one who needs their legs amputated, the one that just had 15 gunshot wounds, the one that was just stabbed, that's the one you tell to get up and let the person who broke their fingernail go before you. They still making demands of us while we're bleeding, while we're missing body parts, while we're homeless, while we still can't vote, while we're landless, while we're sick and poverty-stricken. They say, still get up and defend us. Still get up, N-word, and help us. So by them even saying that she apologizes for saying that we were brainwashed into hating the Jews, that's still giving her a pass. Because putting that headline as the main headline for most of these print publications, that's still not that bad, because it's like, oh, she apologizing for saying that, we don't like them and stuff. They made that we was brainwashed, which means that there was an intentional agenda somewhere out there to get Black folks not to like them. There is nobody that's more acquainted with suffering than us. So we don't need no schooling. Did you hear what I said? We don't need no understanding, silly. Actress Julianna Margulies apologized Friday for recently claiming Black people were brainwashed to hate Jews. Quote, I'm horrified by the fact that statements I made on a recent podcast offended the Black and LGBTQIA communities I truly love and respect. You see how that trick, somebody say trick in the chat. Somebody say trick in the chat. You see how that trick conflated the LGBTQ community with Black folks? No, we're going to keep it single and solely on us. I don't care about the 1 or 2 times she mentioned the LGBTQ. Her intention was straight Black. That was the focus, as all of them are. Because there's absolutely racist elements, strong racist elements in the LGBTQ community too. I want to be 100% clear. Racism, homophobia, sexism, and any prejudice against anyone's personal beliefs or identity are abhorrent to me. Full stop. Margulies continued. Throughout my career, I have worked tirelessly to combat hate of all kinds. end anti-Semitism, speak out against terrorist groups like Hamas, and forge a united front against discrimination. I did not intend for my words to sow further division, for I am sincerely apologetic. Let me tell you all something. This headline that I posted on Instagram and Twitter. What's the first word in this headline? What's the first word in the headline, family? Somebody type it in the chat. Y'all know I'm a teacher. I can't help it. Everybody, as you come in, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share, please. Be sure to subscribe. Family, what's the first word? Actor. Don't forget that, because that's what this fool is doing, is acting. What's the first word, family? Actor. Let me tell y'all something. The reason why people can't stand me, the reason why your sister with the curly braids was such a threat to the FBI, the reason why I was such a threat to powerful forces many, many years ago, and the reason why certain networks and powerful people now can't stand me, because my mama put me in plays. Somebody saying, Vicki, what you mean? We used to do plays at home for my mom and my grandparents, which they used to come and see. They would come in the living room and watch me and my siblings put on plays. And then I was real good and stuff when I was a little girl and stuff. So, of course, my family always supported me in school. My mother put me in theater troops and all this kind of stuff, right? And I know y'all like, Vicki, what are you talking about? You a threat because you were in plays. Your sister know when somebody's acting and putting on, and when there's a prop faster than anybody. That's when you become dangerous. It's when you can use your supernatural skills. It don't matter how much propaganda. It doesn't matter how much they try to program you. You can still read through the lies. That takes unseen skill to do. And to just keep being right. And when they laugh at you because you banging the gavel and you showing up with a whole bunch of roses behind you as your set. And as some people might be saying, Vicki be dressed up on her show like she going to a ball. So you get it twisted. And then when I start talking Southern a little bit, you get it confused, my extraordinary power to expose your funny looking self. See, this is the reason why, Black family, you're going to keep missing it, because you are unacquainted with your power. You don't recognize your power in its strange forms. And you certainly mess up because you don't understand your power in its seed form. But your open enemy does. God, today and stuff. I'm good at that. And don't care who it is, what system it is, what energy it is, what force it is. I can recognize a play no matter who's putting it on. I recognize Shakespeare when I see it. This actress, why am I emphasizing that about her? Let me tell you all something, because I'm a responsible media person. Let me be real careful. Watch this. Y'all see this? It is my belief. I love you back, family. It's my belief. Somebody saying, good evening, Vicki, everyone. What happened? I've not received my Venus magazine yet since 11/18. Sis, did you read the website? Go read the website. Don't put that in the chat anyway, sis. My customer service people are on it. All you have to do is reach out to us on the website. We said these are pre-sales, and it can take up to 6 weeks. You're going to get them well before Christmas, beloved. This is an extraordinary Venus magazine where I'm giving you magical information. We did pre-sale, so prior to them officially printing, they're already at the printing place, but before they first came out, I'm doing it in digital form. But I gave you all the privilege to have the hard copy, a small group of you all, by getting the pre-sales before we released the second launch. Pre-orders, and right there on the website, it gave you the specific time frame before they're going to be sent. Talk black to me. We don't play by customer service. It don't mean we perfect, but we're going to respond when we hear from our people. Okay? Okay. Now let me get back to this topic. I don't play by customer service. I believe in all that, but I got a team that's happy to respond and take care of our people. And we're very transparent on there. Talk black to me. Don't play with me like that. God, today, don't play with me like that. They can't wait to handle your business and to help you. But that's right there on the website, sis. Pre-sales. 6 weeks. You're going to get them well before Christmas. I promise you, you're going to have it. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Back to this actress. Now, why did I bring that up? That she's an actress. And why would this silly white woman, Julianna, go out on a limb to say something that's so blatantly racist? She was very clear on what she did. Let me tell you something. It is my belief. Thank you. Somebody said red is your color. Thank you, precious. It is my belief. Watch this. Watch this. Because the ADL, Simon Wiesenthal Center, and other anti-Black organizations that claim that they speak for their community, these are actually propaganda entities that help promote an agenda for their people so that they can maintain a certain status and get certain privileges while attacking others and maintaining, keeping us still talking about their particular tragedy that they went to for 5 years. Now, we're not tripping on that, but the moment you start attacking Black folks, ADL, like you did Minister Farrakhan and too many other high-profile people and celebrities, then we got to see you for the enemy you are. You pretend like you're an organization that's supposed to be against discrimination, but you use that name exactly because ADL stands for Anti-Defamation League, but that's exactly what they do is defame. You know, the scriptures say you're not supposed to be ignorant of the devil's tactics. What does that mean? That means, family, you cannot be ignorant on how your open enemy moves. You have to be aware of their tactics of warfare. So the trick is the thing that they tell you that they're not, the thing that they tell you that they're against, that's right there in their title. That's exactly what their organization is meant to do. They defame others. And so when you call them out on their anti-Blackness, when you call them out on their predatory behavior, they turn around and start talking about the Holocaust. They start talking about Auschwitz. We don't disrespect anybody, but we got to call out those tactics. Your religion and what happened 100 years ago has nothing to do with me calling out your anti-Blackness and your predatory behavior today. Somebody say, thank God for yay. Thank God today. I defended yay. When everybody was coming against him, I was with it. Didn't Ye tell y'all forgiveness? Didn't he say forgiveness? God today, did he tell y'all to forgive? Didn't he tell y'all to forgive? Everybody was laughing at him. No, he was making a rhetorical point. All you Christians out there that say these are your brothers and sisters and all this other kind of stuff by Abraham, and they gave you the book Torah from which you got your spinoff of the New Testament. You claim that's the old and then this is the new. He said, y'all believe in forgiveness. Why don't you tell your brothers and them forgiveness? Read through the lines. God today. Jeez Louise. Yes, Black folks, I'm your mama. We get to tell you, we're very familiar with oppression. You're not going to sit up here and trick and train us on nothing. We sitting up here having to walk on eggshells, can't say certain words. I tell my people that come in the chat, don't use certain words because if they do, it'll trigger the algorithm because that stuff is set up to where they're looking out for you and then there's censorship and discrimination. We got to walk on eggshells because you want us to endure your oppression against us. And then you start talking about your museum. You start talking about Auschwitz. Funny looking cell. Vicki, get on to where you're going. So why am I bringing up this woman real quick? What did I say? What's the first word? Actor, right? Actor. That's what it say. Actor in this post I put up days ago, right? Quickly. Why did I bring up the ADL, Simon Wiesenthal, and all the rest of them? Watch this. Some of you don't know this, but those organizations, do you all know that behind the scenes, some of those organizations, I'm not saying officially them. Look at the screen. I'm not saying officially them. I'm not saying officially them because I got to be a responsible media person. I'll say it like this. I wouldn't be surprised if behind the scenes, organizations like that had already had a chit chat with her, discussing the fact that they are losing the narrative all over the world. And that a majority of the people around the world that are hearing what's really happening over there in the Middle East, those that are not filled with predispositions that mainstream legacy dead media has been giving them, when they hear the truth for themselves, most people around the world are supporting them. So when your people tell you that Hamas is a terrorist organization, the average person in the United States doesn't know that it's just the United States and one or two other of her white Western allies that consider Hamas to be terrorists. Do you all know that the majority of the world do not consider Hamas to be a terrorist organization? Do you all know that a few years ago that Hamas was on the ballot and the people actually voted for them because they are an actual legit government party that just happened to have a small wing that's a militant group? Talk black to me. Most of the world, nobody considers them legally a terrorist except for the United States, Israel, and one other country, I think it is, mostly. Do you know that every 100 and either 20 or 130 some countries voted in the UN for Israel and Gaza to have a ceasefire, and it was just the United States and a couple of her other white buddies that voted against it. So majority of the whole wide world said stop the fighting. Most of the whole wide world do not consider Hamas to be terrorists. Black family, you should know better. We know better than anybody because y'all called our greatest leaders terrorists. So we can't take America's definition to heart. Right now, one of our Black mothers, Assata Shakur, who is in her 70s and has had to flee American anti-Black torture during the 60s, and she's had to flee to Cuba. To this day, people are still petitioning for your government to take her off the most wanted list. They upgraded it in recent years to a higher status. So what in the hell is my Black family running around here talking about, well, Hamas is we can't take your word for it, America. We don't have to know what's going on over there for us to know what you've done to us. We know your playbook better than anybody. Y'all said Dr. King was the most dangerous man on the planet. What's his name? The little juicy, dewy, J. Edgar Hoover with his dewy self. That's America. So people that fight against oppression, they call you a terrorist. Talk black to me. So don't be stupid, Black family. And so when you see other nations saying, yeah, Hamas is a terrorist group, most of them other countries, they don't believe it. They just say it just so that the mainstream media outlets that they're on can move past that point so they can make a larger point about the large number of people that the Israelis in America is taking out. Exactly. Somebody said they label Malcolm X and Nelson Mandela. Exactly. Now, let me tell y'all something. This is a side note. I'm going to get back to this thing in a minute. Some of y'all have forgotten why Nelson Mandela was a threat and why they locked him up for 27 years instead of killing him and his allies. Do you all understand that the reason why they feared Nelson Mandela? Because Nelson Mandela initially was about the nonviolence in terms of how he was engaging with the anti-Black apartheid government. And he came to the conclusion, they believe in violence. They're going to take us out with violence. He came to the conclusion that when we're nonviolent, it instigates further violence on their end. It activates further violence from them. Some of you, do you all not know that Nelson Mandela used to detonate bombs? God, today! You never hear in mainstream media ever that part. Do you all know he was a threat when our brother decided to fight so that his people could live, defending themselves? Nelson Mandela was a threat because he started blowing up stuff. He was doing that and stuff. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying this is why they was scared of him. That's when he became a threat. When he was doing all that sweet little chit-chat stuff, that was on another lower level. That was bad enough because they didn't want that mindset to spread. He became real dangerous when he said, "Oh, okay, I see how y'all do. We gonna make some bombs. We just start blowing up stuff." And did you all know that your U.S. government went over to South Africa because they was having a hell of a time trying to find him? So by and through certain intelligence government agencies from the United States, they came in collaboration with the South African authorities in order to even locate him. I just want y'all to wake up and smell the doggone begonias around this piece. Keep certain facts in mind. But I digress. That was a side note. And again, you all know I don't teach you to be the aggressor first and all this kind of stuff. You know I don't teach you to be irresponsible. I always have to make that disclaimer because there's some touched in the head people around this piece. Watch this. This woman actor, one more quick. Actor, Julianna Margulies. Why does Vicki keep talking about actor? Vicki, get to your point. Watch this. What you guys got to understand is organizations like the ADL. I didn't say ADL officially did this. I said organizations like the ADL. Are y'all with me? Johnny, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to bring her up later because I've discussed that in times past. You said they were horrified of Winnie Mandela. You better believe they was horrified of Winnie Mandela. The reason why I got respect for Winnie Mandela because she maintained her understanding of who the enemy was, even when her husband kind of softened up after coming out of prison. Now, I'm not trying to judge him or nothing, but she believed in necklaces. Some of y'all don't know what that means. God, today. Winnie Mandela, baby. Some of y'all don't know she was tortured when her husband was locked up. She was prison and jailed, put in solitary confinement. Their babies were killed and all kind of stuff they experienced. Winnie Mandela, so y'all can play like the sisters. Y'all can play like we playing with you. Man, you better go sit down. Bro, you ain't fearless for real. God, today. But y'all know about them necklaces. My brother Warren, he know what I'm talking about them necklaces. People be making fun of me talking about how much I love my jewelry. Yes, baby. We got political jewelry too about them necklaces. What y'all know about them necklaces? Them South African countries, baby, they got some jewelry over there. God, today. It's got to do with tires and fire being put around the neck of a traitor. That's what she was on. I can't speak to why her and her husband end up getting divorced, but this is a little speculation about the fact that she maintained understanding who that enemy is. And clearly, Winnie Mandela was absolutely right, because look at the condition of South Africa today. Just because you have a Black leader, they're still not anywhere where they're supposed to be financially, economically. That's why shout out to our brother, Julius Malema, who's a part of the EFF organization, the Economic Freedom Fighters. And yeah, even shout out to their foreign leader, their foreign minister, Dr. Naledi Pandor, their president, Ramaphosa. He's trying to do some good stuff. I know he's weaving some things around here, but your U.S. government, they're attacking South Africa right now. I've been doing all kind of geopolitical coverage on that. And the reason why they're doing that is because there's some parts, among other things, they're upset with their alliances with Russia. They're upset with their alliances with China. They're upset with their rise in BRICS. They're upset with the deals that they recently made with Iran. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know they were doing that over there? Your government and Congress been holding all kind of hearings and making all kind of subtle threats against them. Y'all know about that. Us women, we can dress up and put on lipstick, baby. Don't play with us when it comes down to justice. I ain't one of them. I believe in jury. I believe in jury and stuff. I dress up. God, stop. Shout out to Winnie Mandela. She never lost sight of who the enemy was. Some zillions of years. She didn't never get tricked by no "we shall overcome." And because you done took down the apartheid signs of what building I can go into, she never lost sight of who the devil was. Y'all know about that jury. God, today. We can move on. There are organizations, because they're so desperate and because the ADL and all them kind of folks and Israel's propaganda machine, they're losing the narrative family. They were able to get away with so many war crimes, many high profile international organizations have clearly said that, of course, Israel has committed war crimes. And of course, we don't need him to tell us what we clearly believe and see for ourselves. But if we're going to use the technical terms, this is substantiated by multiple credible global organizations, goodwill organizations that have said Israel is committing war crimes, okay? Not just from October 7th, but long before that. Of course, a land that don't even belong to you. What is we talking about? You had a right to defend yourself. Do the people that you slay, you don't got the right to get you out of there? But I digress. Move on, Vicki. Look, I'm on one today. I told y'all when I read Red, child, I just be doing the most. To me, I admit it. Watch this. So organizations like that, when they're losing the narrative, and when they can't control mainstream media like they need to, y'all know they done kicked off that man from MSNBC for pushing back a little bit on one of the Israelis' guests, bust him in some lies, because the Israelis, they've been putting about a different kind of propaganda trying to say that Hamas was doing this and Hamas was chopping this off and doing that, child. Some of the stuff they done put out, people have debunked it and caught them in so many lies. So the guy on MSNBC, said something about it, which he didn't say nothing in the beginning. It was at the end that they started trying to push back a little bit. So now he off the show. They made the other guy who's pro-Palestinian a long time ago. They stopped doing his. They don't want to hear from him too much because they don't want him to go crazy. So I say that on mainstream media outlets because this is the kind of pushback that they've been getting for anybody that even halfway says that you don't supposed to be taking the people out like that, right? So many lies that their government has been caught in. And because when mainstream media calls it out even a little bit, they didn't kick the guy off with his own show. Watch this. What happens when you don't control mainstream media anymore, family? What happens when your partners that you are used to being the liaison to so many different communities, when they're failing to actually have influence over those communities? What do? You get desperate and you start making phone calls to actresses. Today, tell them to go on a podcast because the actress is so outraged. She it's possible. That's what I'm saying. I'm allegedly, I'm saying this is a possibility. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. I'm a responsible media person. Some of you all don't understand that these folks out here, they are willing to take the chance. Yes, that's his name, Mehdi Hassan. Thank you, beloved. On MSNBC, they kicked him out. Now, I don't have no love for him. He's a fraud because he didn't say nothing this whole time. It's just that Mehdi Hassan used to have a reputation for really pushing back on anybody that he would do an interview with. And so because it's been clear that he has not done a good job, out of desperation, he acted like he somewhat sort of pushed back a little bit on one of the reps from over the IDF and all them for lying and stuff. And so because he pushed back kind of effectively, that's when he lost his job. So let's just be clear. But nevertheless, watch this. Somebody said, I just love our Queen Vicki. She's the true meaning of Christ most. Christ doing the most. Thank you. I love that. I can't wait till you write your book, Miss Sharice. You are indeed a wordsmith. Everybody listen. Watch this. So what y'all don't understand is this white woman, actress, Julianna Margulies, I wouldn't be surprised if she planned to intentionally offend us. This was just so they could seed that out there to the public. Don't y'all understand this? I'm trying to teach you how media is warfare. I'm trying to show you what your prophetic sister knows and how they move. But in this instance, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. Do you get it? Thank you, my sister Ronique. She said, looking beautiful. Thank you so much. My sister right there, that's a powerful sister right there. Listen. So some of y'all don't know, she was willing to take a hit to her career, which she ain't gonna have no real hit. Some of you all don't understand, white folks, some of them are so anti-black, they don't care if they're associated with being reckless and racist. They don't mind saying something knowing darn well there's going to be a backlash. And they had already planned, she had already planned on coming back with an apology. This was all a plan, is what I'm trying to get you to see. I wouldn't be surprised. This is in them, so it's automatic to where they don't care if they offend you. But why some of you all say, well, Vicki, why would she do that? say something so horrendous? Why would she go so crazy? Because this was a plan. They're putting it out there, meaning they're seeding the idea. The work is already done. The idea that they're seeding is that this white woman, this white woman, first and foremost, got out the message. That Black people should be completely supporting Israel. She got out the message. This clip is under the Copyright Act of 1976. Y'all know I'm not finna play all this, but this is why I like to use black media's podcast when I'm trying to do stuff. Listen to a little bit of what she said. Again, this is under the Copyright Act of 1976. Exactly timestamp, shaping your perceived vision. Yes. Same with Amy Schumer. Yes. You all know, how many of y'all know I discussed Amy Schumer? Right here. How many of y'all know I discussed this white Jewish man, Rappaport? How many of y'all remember he never had no real career? Michael Rappaport. I posted that, I don't know how long ago. Here's one of the times. When did I post this? November 17th. How many of y'all remember this?
20 American tourists. Forget the 1,200 people that were murdered, slaughtered, civilians. If 20 American civilians, all African American, all Black, all ages, were taken hostage, and 10 of them were murdered and raped.
Watch out.
There was 10 surviving American tourists.
Watch out. He finna go crazy. He finna get possessed. He finna get possessed.
There's not one motherfucker in this country that would be talking about ceasefire. There's not one person. It would be.
He finna go cussing crazy. I gotta take this demon off of here. What is it about Black folks? When white folks get in this, they get possessed. How many of y'all know that's a possession? Brother Warren said, I remember. How many of y'all know that's a possession? How many of y'all remember your sister with the curly braids was one of the ones that start putting out there days before that? How many of y'all know a day or two before that I put on here November 16th when I posted this on Instagram? I posted on other platforms too. How many of y'all know I posted a famous artist from Israel named Dillard? Dillard, an Israeli artist, was pumping up the Jewish soldiers to get ready to go bomb Gaza. How many of y'all know they always talk about how they need music for the military? But when they got ready to go massacre, just wholesale of people, they get pumped up first. And Black family, you want to call your religion, you want to call Black ancient systems demonic? When we tell you ninjas to go back to your ancient spiritual systems that was hijacked by these religious systems, you want to call your own ancient Black ancestors' practices and rituals demonic. No, let me show you demonic. Let me show you demonic. Dillard, a famous Israeli artist, to pump up the soldiers over there, to pump them up to get ready to murder masses of people. What did he say? Y'all, I'm gonna cut this down, and I only showed you a couple of clips. He was speaking in Hebrew. What did he say? In case y'all missed those broadcasts that I did. In case you missed me posting it on multiple platforms. He said, Gaza, you Black woman, you trash. Gaza, you bitch. Gaza, daughter of a huge whore like your mother, Gaza. Gaza, you whore. Some of y'all don't understand your Black magic. When you sit up here and say stuff like, why they worried about us over here? Why they pulling the foundation of Black Americans in their issue? It's spiritual, silly. I just did my ancestors webinar when I was talking about the civil priestesses, the civil prophetesses. These ancient Black women from thousands of years ago were the original Vatican. They were the divine order. And hardly any white or Black governments and militaries that knew of these women, they came to their temples to seek their wisdom before they made major decisions. Their face were used as amulets before they went to war for good luck. Businesses used to hang their faces as amulets on the outside of their businesses for success. The very place where the Vatican is situated, when you study the word, even the word Vatican is talking about witchcraft and sorcery that had directly to do with these black women. And the actual geographical location where Italy is situated, where the Vatican City inside of Italy is situated, these ancient black women used to prophesy there. And they had temples throughout most of the known world. So they buried their history. And they buried the fact that their rituals and their spiritual systems were hijacked by every single major religion. There is a trace of their rituals and their rites that were infused in every single one. Exactly, Malik, that Black Madonna that they still bow down to. You can get the replay on my website at VickiPlant.com. Maybe one of my moderators can put in the link to my website if you want to get the replay. Me and my brother, Rod Hayes. How many of you all know the mystic Rod Hayes? We did a 3.5-hour webinar breaking down these ancient black women and how their history was whitewashed. So you hear about famous gods and goddesses, not knowing that some of their that those avatars that you know, that we've come to know as goddesses and gods, were actually avatars that were stolen from them. And before even the white man stole it, some of the black men became jealous of the black woman's authority. And they were actually some of the first ones to begin to persecute and torture them. Thank you, brother. First, I'm getting ready to pin Brother Warren's link. He put the link there on my website. You can go there. I'm pinning it at the top. It's a sad truth, but it's the truth nevertheless, that they were so jealous of their divine authority. But when the black women gave their authority, it wasn't like the white woman when this was a Me Too type of thing. That's not what that was for. It was the natural order of things. And under their guidance and tutelage, do you know that civilization reached its height in philosophy, in mathematics, in culture, in religion, in every area of life? When you read about the scriptures, let me go to my Christians, Malachi 3. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house, and see if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing in which you won't have room enough to receive. Do you know that the state used to give offerings, tithes to their temples? And at one time, when some of the governments decided not to do it, they received backlash and pushback because they understood that when they gave a portion of the government's and the state's resources to these black prophetesses, they thrived. And when they didn't know what the hell to do, these black women knew how to go into an ecstatic state, a prophetic state, to get supernatural answers. The phrase that we use now for this man named Jesus that healed the sick and raised the dead, that was a phrase that was associated with these black women because they were known for curing lepers and healing the sick. And the phrase raising the dead was not just because not raising the dead in the sense that we know that they can bring somebody from the dead, though I would not think that'd be impossible to them because of all the miracles they did. Raising the dead means that they were tapped into necromancy. I ain't finna go there with you right there on that because y'all ain't ready for that part. Just want to throw that out there because some of us is just crazy like that. On the Sistine Chapel, how many of you all know that there's a black woman that's on the Sistine Chapel that was painted, but they try to put her back and obscure her? All these white women that they call goddesses, those were our real mothers. God, today, this is real, bro. This is real. This is real. Somebody said raising the dead, raising consciousness. Yeah, raising consciousness, but baby, no, raising the dead meaning they knew how to tap into the dead and raise them. In fact, some of you Christians who think that that's demonic, you can't justify in your scripture where it talks about this witch, that the scriptures talk about this witch of Endor. How many of y'all know? How many of y'all learned about that in Sunday school? How many of y'all learned about that from that preacher that taught y'all in the Baptist church, in the Christian church, in the Methodist church, in the Lutheran church, in the Catholic church, in the Orthodox church, in the non-denominational church, in the Pentecostal church? Don't play with me. They talked about this witch of Endor. And they talked about how they outlawed those types of spiritual activity. The witch of Endor. But it talks about how the head of state, Saul, when he couldn't get an answer from his prophet and God because God had rejected him, he, against his own law, went to this witch because she knew how to get a supernatural answer. I was taught growing up that witch of Endor who called up the prophet Samuel, they told me growing up to justify how did Saul go to a witch and how was this witch able to call up this prophet? They taught us in church that there was a demon. Did they tell us that? How do y'all was taught that? They said, oh, the devil, that was the devil. They said that was the demon. The demon was able to go to the dead and make it look like it was Saul. I debunked that with great ease without ever going to anybody's cemetery. Miss Cherie said, I was told that mess. Now, let me tell you why that's a lie. Somebody said, please tell me. Let me just show you the brilliance real fast without going to no church school. The reason you know that was some bull, and you know that the church was desperate to justify why do we find witchcraft and divination throughout the scripture that you can't justify, is because what did this so-called demon say? Did the demon leave Saul astray in his counsel when she raised him from the dead? What did that demon? Y'all said it was a demon. What did Prophet Samuel say? Fool. He said, Saul, why are you disturbing me? That's what the Prophet Samuel said when but I brought up the witch of Endor because it's believed that the witch of Endor was actually one of these black prophetesses, one of these black sibyls. That's why I brought her up. But they didn't tell you that in scripture. When they messed with it, they didn't tell you that was probably one of the black sibyls. Watch this. The problem with y'all saying it's a demon is that the demon gave Saul some good counsel. He said the same thing the prophet said when she raised him, didn't he? So why did you disturb me? And reminded him of the prophecy of his upcoming doom. The demon didn't say nothing different. The demon didn't lead him astray to make him think he was going to keep ruling. The demon said, you finna lose. The demon said, you finna be out of here in about 5 minutes. The church be full of it. The demon said the same thing that y'all said, thus said the Lord said. That's the demon said the same thing. The demon said, you out of here. The demon didn't give him no new thing to make him think he was finna look rude, nothing. Scripture said Saul was about to faint and everything, and the sybil told him, hey, drink something, eat something. I brought that up because the regular folks couldn't do what she did. They had to go to the black woman whose spiritual rituals and whose spiritual system they outlawed. When he couldn't get no word, he disguised himself and went to her until she figured out who she was after the fact. When she raised Saul up, that's when she said, oh, you tricked me. Funny looking self. I just got to throw that out there. I don't know why I'm off on this. Vicki, focus. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I know y'all really trying to think right now, but yeah, it is a demon because the devil can make himself no baby. The demon told him everything that y'all said, that thus said the Lord said. That's the problem. God, wonder what your church professors would tell you what Vicki just said. Watch what this funny looking, this absolute forgettable. These Karens be absolutely forgettable. Julianna Margulies, when she did this podcast, I want y'all to listen to a little bit. I cued this from a podcast from Professor Black True. Some of the clips. This came to me. I didn't even know he did it until this morning, actually. I want you to listen to some of the clips.
We have been persecuted from the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. It's those kids who are spewing this anti-Semitic hate that have no idea if they step put in an Islamic country. These people who want us to call them they, them, or whatever they want us to call them, which I have respectfully really made a point of doing. Like, be whoever you want to be.
Mhm.
It's those people that will be the first people beheaded and their heads played with a soccer ball, like a soccer ball on the field.
Okay, ladies, shut up. Watch this. Y'all keep listening. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. If you're just coming in, my name is Vicki Dillard. I'm an online media personality and I'm a spiritual teacher. Beloved, I know some of you all are used to seeing me on other platforms, but if you're wondering where in the world have I been, I go live here on my personal channel at VickiDillard.tv. That's VickiDillard.tv, where you're tuned in now. And stay tuned, beloved, for upcoming announcements on broadcasting programming changes, okay? I'm still going to be, I'll give you the update on where you can find my content going forward. Yes. So it'll be more than just here, but if you want to watch me live, beloved, check me out here weekly. I still don't have a specific schedule yet because I always make sure I put my health first. So it's hard for me to set in stone a time, but it's coming in due course. Okay. Listen, watch this. I think she's going to say something.
There was a film being shown by this Black lesbian club on Columbia campus, and they put signs up that said "No Jews allowed." And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you.
Family, based on what our brother said here, and based on some of the commentary I was hearing, some people are saying that's a lie. Some people said that there were signs out there talking about Zionism, which Zionism, of course, is different from Judaism. And to the extent that she was talking, there are many holes in that libelous story. So this woman, many people believe, is absolutely lying by her even saying that in the first place. And of course, we know for Black folks, that don't even seem like it makes sense before you even do any digging or research. So they just love to lie and to distort. That's number one. I'm going to skip because she says so much. I'm trying to get to this other point here. I think this is it. Everybody be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. Let's see if this is the part that I want you to hear. Just these lying wonders. They know they can't never win with the truth because they know ain't nobody finna go for that. So they have to lie, and the lies are not working. And they acting like they confused as to why the lies are not working.
The Ken Burns documentary.
Hold on.
Everyone should watch it.
Watch this. Hold on. Is this the part? Okay, family. Thank y'all for y'all's patience. Listen to what she's going to say here. Is this it? It's almost at this point. Okay. Okay, watch this. I think this is getting close to it. Okay, watch this.
U.S. and the Holocaust, the Ken Burns documentary. Everyone should watch it. It should be mandatory watching, especially for the Black community, if I may, because Hitler got his.
She said this mandatory watching, something along that line for Black folks. She said, she said that, if I may. When she made that statement, that's when she made the statement after the fact. She's telling Black folks that we need to watch this as if she's mandating. We need to absolutely watch this. Listen.
Entire playbook from the Jim Crow South. The Nazis were watching how the Jim Crow South were treating slaves and said, oh, great call. Let's do that playbook. That's what we'll do to the Jews, which is also why in the civil rights movement, the Jews were the ones that walked side by side with the Blacks to fight for their rights because they know. And now the Black community isn't embracing us and saying, we stand with you the way you stood with us. Jews died for their cause. Where's the history lesson in that? Who's teaching these kids?
Family, do you see this, hear this lying wonder? Remember, she's an actress. This is acting. This has nothing to do with the truth. This has nothing to do with proper context or historical veracity. No, she's not confused, Malik. She's not confused. Don't let her get off by calling her a crackhead and confused. This is intentional, family. This is acting. They're just trying to seed a narrative out there. Trust me, it is my belief that she knew in advance that she was going to offend us. She intentionally did it because this was one of the ways that her and the rest of them could push this out there to tell Black folks, we're pissed at you. You niggers were supposed to be with us in the first place. We're pissed at you. You're brainwashed to hate us. They're telling you that if anybody ought to be with us, and then they want to tell you all the stuff that they did for us. No, silly. No, silly. You're not hearing the average person tell you that this was intentional. I'm telling you prophetically, I believe, because I got to be a responsible media person. So I'm telling you, I believe. You better trust my spiritual gift if you had any sense. Watch this. Watch this. This white woman intentionally, in my opinion, plotted to intentionally offend us. I believe behind the scenes, she planned this. She talked to some of these organizations that's used to putting out propaganda and defaming Black folks. She let them know that she would be willing to turn around and make the apology later. But the point is they had to strongly push this narrative, and there's no way they could get away with doing that in a mainstream media environment. We know that mainstream media ain't nothing but entertainment and liars, but it would be absolutely incredible if they utilize a platform like CNN or ABC, NBC, CBS, or something like that to make that statement. So they use this actress who agreed, in my opinion, to be willing to offend us, to be willing to apologize later. But that's not the point, the apology. The point is seeding out that you in words aren't getting in line like you need to. So I asked you all this question some weeks ago when I posted this original piece about this Lior, famous Israeli artist who was pumping up the soldiers to get ready to murder the Gazans. He likened Gaza first and foremost to a Black woman. That's something spiritual. That's why I brought up the symbols. In case you were wondering why was Vicki talking about all these Black women, because there's something spiritual there. This is who is most despised, but you can't understand it and know of hell no, it don't make no logical sense. That's why you got to be spiritually discerning and tapped in. By the way, get on my email list at VickiPlanet.com. The link is in the above because the Vicki Dillard Mystery School is getting ready to go down. The Vicki Dillard Mystery School is going to be my new mastermind school. I'm not associated with Fly Nubian and Club Vicki and Dr. Boyce and them, all that stuff right now. There's some legal things going behind the scenes. Y'all know I'm not messy. I don't like to put stuff out there. But because there's some legal stuff going on and because my name is attached to it and my magic has been used against whatever, I have to let you all know that I'm not Club Vicki. So some of my people have been messaging me, telling me some disturbing stuff. I'm doing my own separate mastermind school now, which is going to be known as the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. Some of you all know, you used to meet, some of you all attended my other one that I did, Vicki University, but this is going to be called the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. You all don't understand your supernatural power. But the powers that be understand your supernatural power. So the reason why this Israeli artist likened Gaza first to you Black woman, you huge whore, he said, you whore, you trash, you bitch. Think about that. Gaza, you Black woman. You whore, you big whore, you huge whore, you trash. That's what subconsciously came up and how they liken their arch enemies. The reason, as I showed you a couple of weeks ago, that Michael Rappaport came out and got possessed by a demon when he got to thinking about Black folks and inserted us in the conflict in the Middle East. It's because it's spiritual. The reason I did a broadcast on Amy Schumer, once again, invoking Dr. King in this, trying to hint, telling Black folks, this is how Dr. King stood with you Jews, and she stood with the Jews, and she put out a clip of Dr. King, and it took Dr. King's daughter to come out to shut her down, to explain to this funny looking woman how not to use her daddy's name in vain. How many of y'all know Bernice King came out and put Amy Schumer in her place? And now you see this white woman, actress. Are y'all catching this? These are comedians. These are actors. These are high-profile comedians, artists, and actors, because the political and the media apparatus, they're not working. And they know that when Black folks co-sign something, it's going to get traction, it's going to get momentum, and there will be a level of authenticity attached to it. But some of you all are too ignorant to your power. You don't know that because you don't have the name president, or you're not some top Wall Street entity, you don't understand your own power. But it is our energy that makes the whole world go round. Do you get that? It is the thing that they despise more than anything. So it's my opinion, and I know you ain't hearing nobody say this, but I'm trying to tell you prophetically and spiritually what I believe. I believe she planned to offend us. She was willing and knew she was going to have to apologize 5 minutes later. But she was willing to do it because they are so desperate, because they are losing the global narrative on their legitimacy. And the people they need most to give them cover, to give them legitimacy, to give them momentum, to make their narrative go viral and to be believable is us. And that ain't happening. Now, did you notice that this white woman had the nerve to say that it was Jews that stood with us and that Jews gave their life for Black people? Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something real quick. How many of y'all know that Minister Farrakhan right now is suing the ADL, Simon Wiesenthal Center, and some of their and other entities or persons that have to do with, over the past 40 years, they libelously, erroneously labeled him and the Nation of Islam as anti-Semitic. And the minister is suing them for billions of dollars because of how they helped to destroy careers and engaged in acts of character assassination. And it had real world consequences because they continue to label them like this. Somebody say, shout out to Minister Farrakhan. Watch this. Well, years and years ago, his high level, highly intelligent scholars put together, and I'm not even going to say it. I want you to look at the screen. A series. Y'all see the title right there? You can get this book series at NOI.org. That's all I'm going to say about that. You see it? Several volumes. In those books, whose sources they use come from many Jewish people. They prove how some of the greatest benefactors and some of the people that actually constructed the blueprint for anti-Black slavery were their community. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Isn't that something? So then when this funny looking Julianna actress says, what is Black folks gonna do for them? Like I said, we were still bloody. We're still fighting anti-Black oppression. We're still in the Black Holocaust after 500 years. The whole world rallied around for them to get reparations. Did y'all know that? What has Black folks done? Ma'am, we built and created and sustained America. We have been giving you all billions of dollars, upwards of nearly $4 billion every single year, dang near since most of your 70-some year existence. What have Black folks done? We shed our Black blood in World War II to free you from Hitler while we were still under Jim Crow. And we endured the oppression from some members of your own community. So just because you can point to about 2 or 3 of your people that marched, okay, thanks. but that pales in comparison to the very black blood that was shed while we were under deep oppression to free you from Hitler. On no day, at no time, will we permit a devil to come in our face and to question us about anything. We're not going to engage with you logically or seriously because we know it ain't about logic or truth or facts or history. Because in that multiple series book that you can get at NOI.org, with this title, screenshot it, y'all are real quiet about this truth. Don't you ever ask us when have we stood for you when your whole careers and Wall Street and your businesses and the sustaining of America and much of the world has benefited off of our free labor and our intellectual prowess. And while you were under the heel of Hitler, and while we were still under Jim Crow and just coming up from chattel slavery and some of the worst parts of the black codes and convict leasing, we in all of our glory and otherworldly black energy summon the power and the skill to make the difference to free y'all from Hitler. And many black women served, even though they were nurses and so forth and so on. That was a type of soldier. And the black women were humiliated during the war because America forced some of the black women to nurse and to serve Nazis that the United States captured. Did y'all know that? You know this is the truth. Some of you, these are facts, but these are tricks. It's a facade, it's a mask to cover your madness. And as Minister Farrakhan said, I think some years ago, somebody correct me, Brother Warren, correct me in how Minister Farrakhan said it. Didn't he say that the mask of white civility is coming off? Something like that. If my Brother Warren is still in the chat, Brother Warren, check me if I'm messing that up. Didn't the minister say some time back that the mask of white civility is coming off? It's coming off. It just fell off. It just falling off. We shed our blood. But we can point to the fact that members of your community were actually some of the architects of our undoing. You better not fix them little bitty thin lips. You better watch your mouth. Trick. Trick, you better watch your mouth. God, today. See, that's warfare where the oppressed are made to believe that they have a responsibility to keep slaving for y'all. We're supposed to keep rescuing you out of your own madness. But that's a diversion and distraction so that you don't move to reparations and giving us justice. Brother Warren said they don't even bother faking it anymore. That's so true. But I want y'all to know that it's my prophetic belief that what she did was intentional. She knew because of how outrageous her racism was that she was going to have to apologize, but that was all a part of the trick. She was willing to take that hit for her people in her community because all of them are freaking out because their mask has fallen off. You don't need to say nothing about anti this and anti. Ain't nobody studying your religion, baby. We love everybody. We don't even need to bring your religion into it. Say it again, somebody. Mama D said, Vicki, you did a broadcast on it, didn't you? Somebody said, we don't need to bring up your religion. All we talking about is your anti-black actions. See, when we catch you in that, that's when you bring up the religion. See, we telling you to leave the religion out. And you keep trying to bring it in. Oh, it's anti. No, it ain't, baby. We saying for God's sake, don't bring up. For God's sake, don't bring up your religion. We just gonna focus on your actions. course, there's so much more I could say, but I'm getting ready to go. What else was I going to say? I got to go. I was going to connect the dots again. How many of y'all know I keep talking about, and this has been for many years now, and I will never stop talking about it, the power of them Karens, the WKKK. Talk black to me, somebody. How many of you all know that this is the action of the WKKK? What's the WKKK family? Y'all should know this by now, as much as I done talked about it over the years on multiple platforms. If you listen to anything Vicki Dillard did, that's hardly anything. There's not really a year that goes by where I don't do some kind of teaching on the WKKK. The WKKK is the Women's Ku Klux Klan. These women were actually considered to be the most potent and influential in the Ku Klux Klan, period. Talk black to me, somebody. Whereas they were made to believe, many were made to believe that the white woman was just, incidental or sort of auxiliary. No, she wasn't, baby. She was absolutely essential. Shout out to the black professor who wrote a book called They Were Her Property. I believe that's the name of it. Y'all be sure to pull that up and get that book. I believe it was called They Were Her Property. I've given you excerpts from that many times. In the book, it details the fact that a lot of times it was the white women slaveholders that were given slaves, number one, as a child, some of them. It was bequeathed to them legally by their predecessors, certain slaves they were owned. And she went so far in the book to talk about how a lot of times when these white women, they made sure to go to court in the event that they thought they were going to lose their slaves, they were willing to go to the court. And especially if there was going to be some conflict with her and her husband, she made sure that she went to court to keep them. Then we learned through the book that during one of the censuses that the woman pulled up and researched in one particular area, that 40% of the slaveholders were women, white women. We also learned through that book that it was often, it was not unusual for the white woman to set up the white man raping the black woman. Did you hear what I said? That the white woman was actually the one that was instrumental in many cases of setting up the black woman being sexually assaulted by the white man and by other black enslaved men. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And that white women intentionally wanted black women to get pregnant so that they would nurse, they could use their supernatural milk because they knew their milk was different than their own. They saw some differences when the black woman would nurse their babies so that the black woman would have milk in her breast to nurse their children. Did y'all know that? So in the movies, when they show it was just the white man that was out there, it was Becky that a lot of times was setting it up. Did y'all know that? White women talking about suffrage, and when they couldn't vote, guess what white women did when they got the right to vote? This excerpt, moreover, women had won at least partial suffrage in 27 states and the Alaska Territory prior to the National Amendment. And these states included those where the Klan were strong, such as Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, and Oregon. But in the 1920s, political world into which Klans women entered was rapidly changing. After the 19th Amendment was ratified, the most visible women's rights organization waned in strength. As a result, the narrative of women's struggle for equality had often characterized the 1920s as a period of inaction or even retreat. But that conclusion, while accurate with respect to electoral engagement, does not hold up with respect to social and cultural development. It goes on, but the point is, when white women got the right to vote, guess what they used their right to vote to do? Oppress black people. That's why it wasn't never nothing for me when I found they couldn't vote. Baby, that wasn't nothing. Because y'all was disproportionately still benefiting because your men had all these land benefits and voting benefits. And you, by default, was still able to benefit. Not to mention the other stuff that I just said. And when you got the right to vote, you use it to double down on your anti-black racism is my point. Research it and study it. This piece talks about the fact that Klans women were often the wives of Klansmen, but many joined on their own. Watch this. And others led their husbands into the organization. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that a lot of them back in them, they was the first ones to be part of it, and they talked their men into joining? I've discussed so many aspects of the power of the WKKK, but I'm trying to show you how their daughters are still operating today in the same spirit. How their descendants haven't changed. And how they're dangerous, baby. You got that right, Miss Sharice. That's why we will decide our friends now and forever uncheckable. I got to go for real. I'm way over. I love y'all so much. There's so much more I could say. But I just wanted to give you that to let you all know that it is my belief we're seeing a pattern of blatant anti-Blackness. And it is genuinely how many of them feel. But in terms of this actress, some of them were intentionally willing to offend us, willing to apologize later. But that's so that she could push this narrative and criticize Black folks by making the statement. That was the whole point of doing it, by letting Black folks know that you all are not where you're supposed to be. How many of you all know that I've discussed the fact that the Jewish organization, BIack, said that they're going to spend $100 million to unseat certain Congress folks. And right now, the ones that they've gone after first were Black Congress people. Are y'all understanding this? I'm just trying to show you about your friends and stuff. Thank you all, every one of you all that have been giving on my Cash App, PayPal, family. Y'all have been such a blessing. Your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. Thank you so much. Our moderators who are highlighted in blue, they're putting up important information. Family, I'm going to get ready to run right now because I got to go. I've got some other things that I have to get done in just a short few moments. But I want you to keep those things in mind. And I don't want you to be tricked. In my opinion, this was intentional. In my opinion, she knew the repercussions of what she said. She was willing to take the hit for her team. The apology was planned. But the point is, they wanted that narrative out there that they were pissed off at Black folks. And don't forget that in that podcast, she said that Black folks are beneath Jewish people. That's the reason why I told you mainstream media is complicit in covering for her, because that should have been the headline that this white woman said. That Black folks in society are actually beneath Jewish folk. And she wanted us to remember our place. She knew what she was doing. When she went into the fact that two or three Jewish people stood with us in a picture for marching. But they don't talk about the undoing. They don't talk about the series that we can prove in no limit of time who was involved in the slave trade and who taught others about the slave trade. They don't talk about what is Black folks doing. What are we talking about here? And we shed our blood to free you from Hitler. Don't you all ever forget that. And yes, they're devastated because we're still not moved, because we see right through the mask of white civility. It's falling off. And so we're not going to be tricked by the distractions and us justifying and being coerced into supporting that which we ought not. We don't care nothing about your religion. We're looking straight in your actions. And every single time they try to bring up their religion, immediately shut it down and say, baby, I'm not even worried about your religion. I'm talking about your actions. And you can't use your religion to cover that. A white supremacist is a white supremacist, is a white supremacist, is a white supremacist. Under any appellation, under any moniker, under any label. And that's why you're mad at us. Because you can't use that costume for this theater. My name is Vicki Dillard. I'm your sister with the curly braids. I bow to you. You are my bliss. I think I just got a handful of calendars up. I think my team, in fact, told me, Vicki, I only have 5 of my Venus luxury calendars left, family. You know I'm going to make the rest digital in a couple of weeks. But this was a special edition of a small handful that I made available to the public. Beloved, y'all went and bought these. This 16-page, yummy, yummy Goddess Secrets, brothers. If you have a lovely lady in your life, you'll thank me later. Get it for her, your daughter, your sister, your niece, your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance. She's going to absolutely love it. I'm planning on doing more in the upcoming year, of course. My Venus magazine has long been in my heart, but I'm finally making it a reality. Right before I came on, my team said, Vicki, you only got 5 left. So if you're watching this, you're so lucky. Hurry over to VickiPlanet.com. The link is posted above, VickiPlanet.com. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you again.